Centrell show. She's on fire. Centrell. She will ignite your passion and bring your purpose to life. The strategy she shares will take you to higher heights. Improving your energy, spirituality, your well-being. A better mindset for your journey to build a better you. She's on fire to take you higher. She's on fire to take you higher. The Centrell Show.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the Centrell Show. Guys, we are so excited to be coming to you again from Creed Global Studios. We have had the most amazing past few days. For those who do not know, we had our pre-launch event this past weekend, which was phenomenal. I am so thankful for all of those individuals who came out and shared with us in that special event. We had guests from all over, traveled in to see exactly what we have to offer here for anyone who has a brand, a business, and they want to highlight that and bring their message to a wider audience. So you have that opportunity here with the Centrell Show through advertisement, through being a guest on our show, and you can also talk to us by checking out our website, www.creedglobalmedia.com, to see what services we can offer you, maybe even bringing you into the studio to record your own show. So today we are talking about a seat at the table, and we have Phillip Dunn joining us in our studio to talk to you about what that means, bringing the community together and of course collaborating in business and how we circulate those dollars in our own communities. So before we do that, make sure you're liking, sharing, and following with anyone who needs to hear a message about how they can be a part of a great movement. And use the hashtags Creed Global Media and The Centrell Show. So before we actually get into our show today, I am going to let you hear a little bit from our partners. We had some amazing partners for our pre-launch event, and we will be highlighting them all month to say thank you. Thank you and thank you. We appreciate you. So take a look at our partners, and when we return, Phillip Dunn.
MCA Communications and Office Furniture Innovations have combined their efforts to create a design lab for their clients. Interact is a collaborative canvas for the workplace environment. Our showroom is an active form and functional laboratory, constantly transforming to suit real-world needs. Through education on the latest and greatest furnishings and technology, we help our clients visualize how to integrate them into your own space. Interact. It's your workplace. Evolve it.
Let's take a look at the math. 10,000 people in the Black Business Focus Group, not the 43 million that's outside of the focus group. 10,000 people making a commitment to buy black at least 3 times a month, 30,000 transactions. Now, if you apply numbers to that, 30,000 times, let's just say $20 each transaction, that's $600,000 going back into our community immediately. On the high end, it could be as much as $2,500,000. $2,500,000 or $600,000 is coming back into our pockets, is staying in our pockets. Those dollars are circulating within our community, making our community stronger. So it excites me, I hope it excites you, and then what are you going to do about it? Are you going to make that commitment? And then once you make that commitment, are you going to honor that commitment? If you honor that commitment, you'll positively change our community. So it's up to us. It's our time.
You gonna sing, Lori?
I speak of promised land, soil as soft as mama's hands, running water, standing still, endless fields of daffodils.
Hello and welcome back, guys. We are here in the studio on the Centrell Show, and we are joined with none other than Phillip Dunn of A Seat at the Table. How are you doing today, Phillip?
I'm doing great, Centrell. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you to your production team for having me here, and I'm just excited about being on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. And you are like the first person to join us on our new set. I'm so excited about that. I love new stuff. So welcome.
I really like the digs. I like what you're doing with the set. And I just want to congratulate you this weekend on your pre-launch event that you had and the success that you're already enjoying, but even more so what you have in store for the future.
I appreciate that. You know, every little bit is like, wow, this is really happening.
Right.
And I know you understand that because you've been building A Seat at the Table for many years. So tell us a little bit about you and what led you to build this platform for all of us.
And thank you for that wonderful lead in. I started A Seat at the Table in a focus group, a social media focus group, back in November of 2015. Started with like 30 people who just wanted to buy black and who wanted to find businesses and opportunities in which to just circulate the dollars back into our community. And from that, we started a website, a directory, which is an online directory rating and review service for black-owned businesses.
Yeah.
And so, that growth, that wanting to do more led to that, and then it's also leading to an app that we want to develop in the future.
Okay. So you're developing something and you have just a few people that jump on. Now, I always like to talk about this because as entrepreneurs, we need supporters. We need people to buy into the message. When they see something good, and I see something good here because we have a number of communities that support each other when it comes to business and their products and their services. And they make sure that within the community, everyone grows and rises up. And you have found an area of opportunity within our community. And now you're started with 30 people, and now we're at maybe...
We're at 10,600 members as of today. And those 10,600 members actually go out and they buy black at least 3 times a month within our community. So that's 3 times a month we have transactions from these 10,600 members. And they're bringing that back into our businesses. That means dollars coming back into our businesses, opportunities for businesses to grow and hire more people within our community.
Yeah, and that's important. And my hat's off to you because I think it's important for people to take on endeavors. I don't think people really realize, anyone out there really realizes what goes into building something from the ground up in that space. So supporting you is important because supporting Phillip in Seat at the Table means supporting each and every one of us. Right. And I think we need to be clear too that we're not saying support us and support no one else. We're saying that there is a less of the dollar being recycled in our community, and we're going outside of our community, maybe not even taking a look inside of our own communities to purchase services and products.
Right, and I'm glad you said that. It's estimated that the black consumer market spends $1.3 trillion annually. And less than 1% of that goes back to our businesses. Yeah. So we have to find creative ways to bring those dollars back into these businesses. And we also have to pay attention to key indicators in the marketplace. So with unemployment, which is always consistently twice as high in our community as other communities, we have to find ways to employ our people. What better way than to support the businesses in our community that can soak up some of that unemployment? Yeah. And then there's also the wealth gap, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later in the show. But all these different things can be solved if we just support our own businesses.
Yeah, so I think the interesting piece of that is $1 trillion.
Yes.
So we're not talking a million, not even a billion, we're talking $1 trillion. Right. And you're saying that that is money consumers such as ourselves and our ethnic group are spending. We are the consumer. We are the ones, we are consuming $1 trillion of products and services somewhere else, or 1% of it is coming back to our community.
Right, and so two things are happening when you have that $1 trillion flowing outside of our community. Number one, we're making folks richer, and those folks aren't necessarily within our community. And so when things happen in society that impact our community, we don't get the help and the support from folks outside of our community.
Absolutely.
So it's important that we really try to do everything that we can to bring those dollars home so that we can affect change for our community. The second thing is that we're not able to fully employ folks from our community. And we know that in corporate America and in other places, there are structural biases in place that prevent us from, number one, being employed, and then number two, from being promoted within the company. And if you take a look at the Fortune 500, I think less than 3 of the CEOs are black CEOs. And not one woman CEO. So we need to start paying attention to these numbers and these indicators, and then start doing what we need to do to correct them.
Right. And as a female CEO, I think that I would want that support. One, because I support the community. I support the community and the community at large.
Yes.
I think it's important for us to give back and to pour into those businesses that are up and coming. We think about big companies like the tech startups and all of those, the Googles. They had somebody who believed in them from the very beginning, those 30 that you talked about, and then it grew. Well, people can't just catch on once it's grown. There has to be somebody who helps to make it grow. And that's what Seat at the Table needs at this time. They need people to make it grow, understand the message, understand the benefit of what their actions, their support, their buying products and services from our community are going to do for the greater community. Because this also lets others know that we're investing in ourselves. Why come and invest in our community when we ourselves are spending our dollars elsewhere?
That is correct.
Yeah.
And what you described is something that's just so unique. If we invest in ourselves, and if we become good, solid consumers for our businesses, these businesses can grow, and our children will not have to go out searching for work outside of our community. So we can create opportunities, we can create jobs, and we can create wealth within our community right here, but it starts with a solid consumer base. And it starts with small steps, such as buying black at least 3 times a month, such as recommending black-owned businesses, such as writing reviews, such as providing ratings, such as following up with businesses to see that they've made improvements. And so all of these small things actually add up to one big thing, and they build businesses. And Google has done it, Microsoft has done it, Apple has done it, Facebook is doing it. All these businesses go out and they grow and they explode explosively because they have a solid consumer base. So we need to do the same for our businesses.
I like that. Really good point. So where did you start, Phillip?
Wow, it's a long story.
We've got all day.
Yeah, we
No,
got
I'm
all
just
day.
kidding.
Well, what really started this all for me was just really taking a look at opportunities within corporate America for myself and for my peers, and then of course for the next generation. And then the next thing was not finding businesses in my community that actually, had people that own them that looked like you and I. And so I decided to put together this group. And we started out with just like 30 to 60 people. And it's called the Black Business Focus Group, by the way, which built a seat at the table now to the table. And so everyone in this group was looking and seeking for value within our community. And so then the black-owned businesses joined, and they said, hey, we can provide value. And so that's how we started To the Table. You provide value, you bring it to the table, and the consumer will come to the table to seek value. And so this group began to pick up, and we changed the settings in our social media focus group so that you could only add a friend or a like-minded friend. And this way we eliminated the riffraff, we eliminated folks that weren't really interested in seeing the black community grow and succeed. And so 30 people led to 60, 60 led to 10,600.
Well, there you go. And it's key to emphasize like-minded. You know that everyone's not going to jump on this right away. Sometimes it takes people a moment really to understand the concept, to really understand where they can be of value and where maybe their business has a fit, and then they will jump on it a little bit later. You don't want people to jump in that may not understand the vision. So like-minded is important, and that's important in any and everything that we do. You surround yourself by like-minded people because it allows the vision to soar and move forward progressively.
Right.
So I like that you mentioned that. Those individuals who would like to check out tothetable.com right now,
Yes.
or Black Business Focus Group, which is on Facebook, check them out, see what they're doing, because we need as much support as we can. And there's so much important dialogue going on in that group, highlighting businesses of every kind. And I believe also that you guys take the time to do recognition and things of that nature. It's not just buy, and buy. It is, let us celebrate you.
Right.
Let us highlight your business. Let us also get you in touch with some people that you may not have otherwise touched to build your business. So it's bringing the dollars into the community, and it's connecting the community.
That's precisely correct, is actually connecting the Black consumer to the Black-owned business. Ultimately, the entire Black community is now connected in the Black Business Focus Group. So we have 10,000 members that are doing this work, and they're what I call the leading advocates. So you want these like-minded people that understand what it is that we're doing. That way you minimize the resistance of folks who may see this as something that is not a positive thing.
Right.
And so by not having that resistance, you're able to move things forward.
Yeah.
And so when I mentioned that we have 10,600 people in our group, we have people buying Black at least 3 times a month, 30,000 transactions going back into our businesses every single month.
Right.
360,000 transactions going into those businesses. So we've created a pipeline, if you will, and this is from my energy industry background, a pipeline whereby we can ship transactions out to different businesses every single month.
I like that.
And those businesses in the future will be able to count on those transactions. So as they're planning, as they're hiring, as they're making other plans with partners, they're able to make them knowing that they can count on the Black Business Focus Group to deliver the consumers.
I love it. So make sure to take a look at tothetable.com and check out Black Business Focus Group on Facebook, and also make sure that you're liking, sharing, and following. You may have a business and you may need to be a part of this group, or at least see who is a part of it, that you can take advantage of their products and services. We want to make sure that we support. This is a vision of inclusion, and it's important that we all jump on board now at the beginning and see what we can do to build businesses and to collaborate. So we will be right back. Check out our sponsors. We have very dynamic PR, and we also have another message from Mr. Phillip Dunn. We'll be right back.
All right, when you think about the To The Table app, the top 3 benefits are going to be this. It's going to be the master connections that are made in the app, and then of course the analytics that we use and the awareness that we generate for the member businesses as well as for the consumers that find value in our community. So number 1, the master connections. Whether you're a business seeking another business to partner with, whether you're a consumer seeking a business to find value from, or whether you're a Black-owned business seeking to find a good consumer base, we're going to make that connection for you. The next thing we're going to do is to drive analytics. So we're going to pay attention to those indicators, those key performance indicators that are going to help to drive value from the businesses to the consumer. And then the last thing we're going to raise awareness. Without awareness, you cannot have change, and you cannot change what you do not measure. And so we're going to do all 3 of those things in the To The Table app, and we're going to bring that home to you guys.
I speak a promised land, soil as soft as mama's hands, running water, standing still.
So a lot of people ask me, how did all of this come about? Being a media figure, owning a media and production company, was this something I always wanted to do? Well, it kind of was. And I don't think I realized it until I went back and looked at my journals. Now, as an action coach, it's one of the things I always recommend people do. Write down the things that are in your heart. Write down the things that you desire to do. Even write down the things that are happening in your day, because those are not insignificant moments. They're not insignificant thoughts. They have a purpose, and they come from the deepest part of you. So somewhere back in 2000, I'd have to look at my journal to actually see the date, I wrote that I wanted to start a media and entertainment company. I also wrote a whole bunch of other things too, so now that this vision has come to life, look forward to all the other things that are coming. The thing is that it was something that was buried in my heart, obviously, because here we are, fast forward many, many, many years later, and the vision has been realized. We now have a media and production company right here in the city of Houston. As one of few women that operate in this space, I'm honored. And I was also even surprised that I took the time to bury something like this. And now look at all of the opportunities that are opening up because of it. It makes me think of those people who have forged the way, those people who have paved the way that I look up to, like Angela Bassett and Michelle Obama and Oprah in this media space. Those are those women that you say, wow, they did something impactful. And I could have left this on the table, and now I can run in the league with these women. Even though they've come before me, they've set a path. So I hope to do the same thing, which is what my Building a Better You brand has been about, which is what having a media and production company with 4,000 square feet of space offers to each and every person that I'm able to touch. We are focusing on building collaborations, building connections, and building a better you. That has always been my vision as a mentor, as a coach, as an entrepreneur, that everyone would see that they too have the opportunities that I do. It took a little hard work. No, it took a lot of hard work. And really not so hard, just that it took time. And it wasn't my timeline, and it wasn't the way that I wanted it to work out, yet it's been an absolutely amazing journey for me. And I've learned a lot about myself. So I will be sharing that journey, and I will be sharing everything that we do here in hopes that I'll be able to collaborate with you as a partner, as someone who gets to bring a message to the world that you can do anything you put your mind to, and that there are no limits, not even the sky. So here's to building a better you. Welcome back, guys. We are on the Centrell Show, and we are sitting here with Phillip Dunn. And of course, we're talking about a seat at the table. Take a look at what it means to find value at the table. And then, of course, Phillip is sharing with us how they deliver value to each and every one of the consumers and those businesses that are a part of the movement. So welcome back, Phillip.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
All right, so we had a question about the different local businesses that support. Tell us a little bit about those people that are a part of the group.
Oh, wow. There are several different local affiliates that feed into the Black Business Focus Group as well as into a seat at the table. One in particular I want to talk about is going to be the Smart Incubator, which started here in Houston by Kuferi Kumata. And this is an incubator. They actually bring in entrepreneurs that want to start businesses, help them structure their businesses, and then once they're ready, we can put them into the Black Business Focus Group, whereby people can go and find these new businesses. And then also later we want to list them at a seat at the table so that our consumers can go out and they can find this value at the table. And it's good to have that partnership in place because you want to make sure that you have a constant pipeline of new talent coming into the market. It's just like you might consider the automobile industry, where they're constantly moving cars down a conveyor belt and they're putting on parts and pieces. And then when they're ready, they send them to a dealership where they sell them to the market. So this is something that's really interesting. I'm really proud to be working with Q. We call them Q for short. And so we want to continue bringing in new talent so that we can continue to stock the marketplace with the best value from our community.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing, because that's just one example of the different businesses that are represented there. I'm also a business that's represented in BBFG.
Yes, you are.
So I'm excited for all of the communication I see in that platform. There's a lot of discussion. There's always someone saying, you know, sound off.
Right.
Let us know what businesses are there so that you can be seen again, you know, because social media feeds and groups, if there's a whole lot of conversation, you can miss a post. We're not in there every day. I mean, so whenever you need to go in there, you're going to see photographers, you're going to see media companies, you're going to see smart incubators, and you're going to see, you know, we even have private plane service. And I mean, just all kinds of businesses. There are folks out there teaching you how to do event planning and Facebook ads. Anything that you can think of, there's likely a business represented. And when you can't find the business represented, maybe it's one you should create and become a part of the group, or just ask. And maybe there's something that we could do about that.
That's
you know?
right. That's
Start
right.
reaching out to the community.
What we've done in the past is, you're right, we are represented in just about every category that's out there. And so there's dozens of businesses that fill these categories. But when we don't have a business in that category, someone might pose the question. They'll pose it as a request for a good or a service in the Black Business Focus Group. And our membership, this is where the community comes in. The membership will actually recommend different businesses, whether they're in the BBFG or not, to fill that request. And so this is starting to build something that you can't really measure, but it's community. And so that community coming together to help you connect with a business within the BBFG or outside, that's something that we haven't seen in you know, decades. And so we want to make sure that we're building community as we're building up our businesses and our consumer base as well. So the flip side of this flyer that we've been holding, there's two sides. One says find value at the table. So if you're a consumer, we want you to come to the table or to the focus group to find value. But then if you're a business, we really want you to focus on delivering value to the table. And then that way we have this actual table that's formed where not only we can exercise commerce, but then others later on, they can come and they can find value in our community. And we're going to hold the businesses accountable to continue to deliver the highest quality service. Over time, you know, we stumbled, you know, in the first 2 years, but over time we're going to really put in place some strict guidelines to ensure that we bring only the best value to our consumer marketplace.
I like that, because there's benchmarks and you're also doing some checks and balances, right?
Yes.
To make sure that everyone that's there is representative of the level of service and the level of business that you want to promote. Now, I think that you have something you want to share with us?
I was going to let you finish your thought, but I'm glad you introduced that, because this is our 2017 accomplishments report. We have a 2016 accomplishments report as well. And all of those things that we measure, you'll find in this report. Now, this is for our members only, but ultimately we're measuring the small things in order to ensure that we're moving in the right direction. And so when we do this, when we measure the things that we're supposed to be measuring, we can drive change. And you cannot change what you do not measure. So it's very important that we're paying attention to the right things. And some of those things, of course, is just making sure that our membership is upholding the commitment and buying black. So we have a poll that we take every single month. And our membership goes in and they assert to buying black at least 3 times a month, or they let us know that they couldn't, but they commit to do so in the following month. So that's an indicator to our business class out there, so that they can understand what type of demand to expect in future months. And then some other things that we measure, of course, how many recommendations we receive, how many businesses have registered, how many people have made a commitment, a personal commitment to buy black. And if you can just imagine for a second, we're doing this with 10,000 people. What happens when you do this across 43 million people within our community in the U.S.? And then, of course, the Canadian black population, and then, of course, the rest of the African diaspora. We can become a force to be reckoned with as effective partners, as effective competitors, So it's really up to us to build that for our businesses.
No, that is a great point. It's the local community, right?
Yes.
And that 10,600 members, that represents not just people from Houston.
Right.
So we're talking about businesses all over. You would be connecting with businesses here in our city, and
Right.
then in other places. I know I've seen people represented in DC. Because we are a technology-driven society, it makes those people who are overseas and
Right.
those people who are over across state borders much closer to us.
Right.
So is there a percentage of those members that are local to us, and what is the percentage that are far?
Wow, the demographics, we're set up at primarily 50% here in Houston. The other 50% is across the world. And I'd say probably about 30% here in the U.S., all scattered across over 150 different cities in the United States, as well as Canada, and then of course in all throughout the diaspora. And then 60% of our group are women. So we have a lot of women driving change in the Black Business Focus Group right now. So
Right.
I'm so proud of that because of what's going on right now with women and gender diversity.
Absolutely.
You guys are really kicking ass. I hope you guys don't mind. You bleep that out
I
behind
don't know
the
that you
camera.
can say that. It's
But I won't say it again, but you guys are
think we
kicking
have to
butt.
cut. No, I'm just kidding.
And, and so we need people that are really, like we said earlier, like-minded. And our sisters have been so effective in this campaign
Yeah.
to move things forward. And so it's very important that we recognize them. And I do so every Sunday in a post I call Praise the Sister Sunday. And it's primarily driven by those sisters in my focus group. And I want to make sure that they understand that they are valued, and I definitely appreciate their support.
We appreciate that, especially because it's Women's History Month.
Yes.
Especially because as a CEO and a female, you know, the road to having equality and also diversity in roles and things of that nature you don't really see. And so when we celebrate each other, and especially the woman, because there are so many things in our political climate right now that
Yes.
are dealing with the undervaluing of women, it's important to hear from our men, you know,
Right.
to hear from the male population that they value us,
Right.
and that we are both standing on the same platforms, helping each other, working together. It's about the woman, and, you know, forget the men. We're not male bashing. We are saying that we should all be partners, and so thank you for saying that. We appreciate it. We continue to celebrate women in history, women making history,
Yes.
and it's pretty cool that you have every Sunday dedicated to saying something nice about a sister.
Every Sunday, and I want to make sure that I have two daughters. I want to make sure that they understand that they are valued. I want to make sure that they understand that they can be empowered.
Yeah.
I switched from telling them to go to school to get a good job
Oh, there you
to
go.
go to school to, you know, create a job for themselves. And so that way, we as a Black community, we can move away from just going and working for others, but we can create opportunities for ourselves and create opportunities for others. And sisters are doing that every single day.
Yeah.
And I worked alongside some pretty amazing sisters in my 20-year plus corporate America career. And they make a way for you, they look out for you, they help to pull the weight when others don't. And so to me, it's very important to recognize that. And I feel like we've got the right energy in the Black Business Focus Group to help take us to the next level. And we're talking about technology just a little bit. Imagine, again, I want you guys to use your imagination.
Okay.
What we're doing all manually in the Black Business Focus Group, you know, we're posting, we're commenting, we're liking, we're engaging on different activities and posts. Imagine when we build an app that connects everybody to our Black-owned businesses.
Okay.
And not just something that we go to periodically,
So
but
that's a
something that we
future
can go to on
project.
demand.
Yeah.
That's a future project I'm working on right now. There's a Kickstarter campaign. You can go to Kickstarter.com to search for Build the To The Table app. Search for Build the To The Table app. Become a backer and help build this app, because it's going to do so many different amazing things to help transform our community. Everything from analytics, from awareness, from the connections that we have within our community. All of that will be accomplished in the first generation of the app. And then everything that I have planned after that, we'll just add on to it every single year, just making sure that we have some additional
Right,
features
right.
to keep things fresh and new for
Yeah.
folks.
I think you have provided a platform that does so many different things. Just as an entrepreneur, I think about having a plethora or a variety of people that I can go to that are already in business.
Already there.
They already have some expertise. And entrepreneurship, although it is specific to your industry, it is very general in the things that an entrepreneur has to do,
Right.
the things that they experience, what they go through. So it's important to have a platform, not just of like-minded people that are looking to support a business, of people that have gone through those different entrepreneurial endeavors and roadblocks and just the things that we deal with that most other people don't know, because you're
Right.
creating jobs. You are creating a place for people to come and take advantage of products and services, and that takes a lot to build. So hats off to you for building it. We appreciate that. I want everyone to make sure that they support the Kickstarter campaign. Make sure that you support the Black Business Focus Group, because it is about inclusion. And that is the most important thing about this movement. It is inclusion of businesses that have been underserved, and we want to make sure that our dollars are being serviced in our community and that we're providing value to those people around us. So the last thing that I have to ask you, because as an entrepreneur, we're dealing with all kinds of things.
Yes.
So you have to say, what do you do to build a better you? What are you doing to constantly improve Phillip Dunn that takes care of Seat to the Table, and then of course BBFG?
Right, and one of the self-reflective things that I do, how am I engaging others? And you know, it's great to be able to make it to different events and to meet folks. I primarily do a ton of work on social media with posting, engaging people one-on-one in conversations. But if people leave away with a not so good experience, then I've got to work on that. And so depending upon the message that I put out there or the posting, you know, I might get some different reactions. But then after a while, I realize I've made some people think differently. And that's what we need in order to help move this movement forward, is folks have to change their minds, in particular about our community. And so we have folks within our community right now that didn't value Black-owned businesses. Now they're going 2 or 3 times a month. Or they were using a particular service provider, and now they're using Black service providers. Someone is now moved into, or they moved from their existing space to one that was owned by a Black landlord. So I mean, these different things are actually helping to transform our community, though small, but you know, over time that's going to measure up to some pretty big things. So that's one of the things that I look at in order to be a better me on a daily basis.
I like that. Thank you, Phillip. We appreciate having Phillip on our show. He is engaging and he's connecting everyone, their businesses, and also showing us how to do the same thing. It's time for us to make sure we invest in our communities. Make sure that you go check out BBFG or the Black Business Focus Group on Facebook, and also tothetable.com. See how you can be a part of the Kickstarter campaign and share your feedback with Phillip of anything that you're not seeing in the focus group or on the website, so that we can improve those things. Accountability, checks and balances, and making sure we're doing our part. We appreciate you joining the Centrell Show, and we will catch you next week.
Centrell, I want to present to you just a quick token of my appreciation.
The show is over!
No. From the Black Business Focus Group, from A Seat at the Table, I want to make sure that you are ready for St. Patrick's Day. And this shirt, Kiss Me, I'm Blackish. It's a nice take on another fellow community.
Oh
and
my gosh.
This is going to be something that you can wear for years to come, and that way you won't get pinched on St. Patrick's Day.
Don't pinch me. I'm just kidding. No, this is pretty awesome. And I closed the show, and now I'm opening it back up so that I can say thank you for the shirt. I like it. I like it. Ooh, and it's green too, which is kind of part of our logo. So thank you, Phillip. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being a part of our show, and thank you for improving our community.
Thank you.
Have a good night, guys.